Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Opiafo. Hi, Azro. Hi, Nurul. Hello, Venvi. Bonjour. Welcome to yet another beautiful day, and we're excited about the opportunities lying before us for today. Is Khan around? I didn't see Khan yesterday. Okay, I want to welcome you to yet another session, and we are almost, I think, two hours into the London session, and we are 3 hours to the New York session. And this is, I will say, in my own perspective, the most appropriate time that we can actually look at the market together, see what is happening as what's happening during the early hours of the London session, and then use that scenario to anticipate what's going to happen during the New York session. And most importantly, we understand that the time where the New York and the London session merges together is when there is always liquidation in the market that we can walk around with. And it's only when there is this liquidation that we can actually make money off the market. Hi. Oh, an echo? Really? Give me a moment. Let me sort that out. Thank you for the observation. I think it's better now. Hey, Can. I've been asking after you for a while now. I didn't see you around yesterday. How are you today? Okay, great. So I guess we can move on. So first of all, we are going to be discussing, taking a quick review of the analysis we did yesterday and what results we had from those analysis. After which we are going to be talking about what expectation we have for today and against the coming week. So, with no much further ado, we will start with the UK oil, and I'm glad Khan is around. And we talked about UKOil yesterday, but I don't think you were around yesterday, Khan. And we were looking for bullish opportunity on UKOil after we negated the selling opportunity on the 1 hour time frame. Right now we got our trade triggered. We got our trade triggered, and it's almost how many pips in profit right now? Who took this trade amongst us? Who took this trade? We are almost close to 300 pips now in profit. As we can see, we expected that what's it called? We expected that signal, that is the breakout of the key level, which was successful. Then price came to do a retest of that zone, and then after which we saw reversal pattern giving us that bullish momentum to the upside. And now we have scenario like this, and we're still thinking and hoping that price will continue as expected into that 112.5 area. So what we're going to be doing at this point is to move our stop loss to somewhere around here so that we are able to hold whatever profit we've made, and in case price is trying to go to the downside, we are not caught in the loss perspective. So that's that on UK oil. Moving on to XAUUSD Gold. Who traded gold yesterday, please? Gold 2 was a massive win for us yesterday. We closed in about 2,500 pips and had three positions running. That's like 7,500 pips in profit. Gold has been good for us this week. The previous day we had this move to down about 1,800 pips. That was a day before yesterday, after which we did this analysis yesterday, and price moved just in our direction very sharply. I don't know if there's anyone who took advantage of this opportunity on the platform right now. Okay, no response. Okay, so gold was profitable for us last week, and sorry, yesterday gold was profitable for us. And what do we have here on gold going forward since we've taken profit on this one? So let us have a look at the chart one more time and see if we'll still have any opportunity lined up for us on this pair. So if let me choose a clean chart. Okay, we had this. Okay, let's let's have this. Let's have a clean chart. Let's quickly run through what's going on the 1 hour time frame. And if we look closely into what's happening on the 1 hour time frame, we could surely identify this downtrend progression, and it has been consistent. We have a major one, and then we have one right below. I think around here. Yes, I think around here will be most preferable, I guess. So we make this a little bit lighter. So we have this trend line working for us now, and I think this is what we might be using for today to guide our selling opportunities for today. And if we look left on that 1 hour time frame, we can find the nearest structure right around here. So we have a key level already sitting right at which is more preferable here, 1840. I think there is one at 1840 here, which then I think there is another one right. Let's do this. I think there's another one right below here. So this is what we have here on the gold. And if we want to be looking to take advantage of another selling opportunity, we do have this impulse leg right here, and then we have something that looks more like a reversal structure, and price is going back down. We don't know how far that will be. If we have something that goes into either of this structure or this trend line, then we can be looking for possibility of a downtrend continuation. However, if we pull out our retracement tool and run it through the last impulse leg, where are we having golden zone? We're having our golden zone right around this area. And let's give this. So this could be an opportunity to sell. Selling opportunity. Technically, this is what structure is giving us, but I'm not saying it's very possible the price will come right back into that zone. But at this moment, this is what we can work around with. However, if we scale down to a much lower time frame, let me say the 15 minutes time frame, I want to see things very clearly so that we can. So, okay, we see this move, we witness this move, price broke through this trend line here, broke through this trend line, and we have this breakthrough. Price rejected that trend line multiple times. Okay, so what this simply means is that price is going to be using this trend line going forward, and we have a breakdown of structure. We are expecting a retest into structure, after which we'll be looking for a downtrend continuation. So let me explain what I just saw now. So if we zoom in closely, the first thing first is that we saw this breakdown of this trend line here, and we saw price coming back into this area to reject that area a couple of times, and therefore giving us a signal that we might be going further down, as we can see that rejection 2 times. So now at that point in time, now we have a reversal pattern here, which looks more like a double top structure, which technically is a very strong reversal pattern that we can work with. Let's give this I think I want to give this a green color. Oh, sorry, let's make it a red. That's a supply zone. So good. So right above this reversal pattern now, as we can see now, has a key level, a neckline around here, which we'll have to identify using our horizontal line, and this is what we have here. So with a key level right at 1821, key level at 18,821. Let's have it at the bottom, in the center. Let's give it a gold color, and then we have this to be in gold as well. So this is what we have here right now at this point. So we have a double top structure, we have a key level, which is also the neckline of the reversal pattern, and then we will be looking for, okay, fine, we already have a breakdown of that neckline. That's a signal we're looking for to confirm that reversal pattern, and then we already have that breakdown. We look for a retest into structure, where we'll be looking for patterns that will support a downtrend continuation. So what this simply means is that we want to be entering this trade right below this key level, with a take profit target of where will our take profit target be at this point. So since the gold has been bearish during the course of this week, we might continue to see further bearish momentum as price action is being monitored. So we want to use this impulse leg to project an extension into where our profit target is going to be. So if we'll bring out our Fibonacci extension tool and run it through that impulse leg and project it further out, we'll have 127.2% retracement right around this area. So for me, I'll just use 1805, which is more psychological, and then that will be having like 1,600 pips take profit target at this point, with a stop loss of around, let's say, 400, 450, thereabout. So this is what we are going to be looking out for today. I hope things work out the way it has been working out for us since the beginning of the week on the gold. And please, let's take this into consideration that if we are going to be taking this trade, we have two parameters that will be our guide going forward if we are going to take this bearish momentum that we projected here. The first of all, we have to look at this trend line, this red dotted trend line here that I identify here, and we have to look at this key level at 1,821 area, as this will be our yardstick. Anywhere below this is what is good for us at this point if we are going to sell. That's on the lower time frame. That's on the 15 minutes time frame. So on the more larger perspective, if we want to look at this, if price does not do as expected on the lower time frame, then we will be looking forward to the formation of this reversal pattern, that is if price does not go further down, then breakout of structure, we look for selling opportunities around this area to join the rally decline to the downside. That's on a larger perspective. So on a lower perspective, we'll be looking at that short-term 1,600 pips take profit target on the 15 minutes time frame. So that is that. That is that on XAUUSD. I don't know if we have any questions or clarifications whatsoever. Okay, so I will be moving on to EURUSD. So on the EURUSD, what did I see here on the EURUSD, and what do you think is happening here on the EURUSD? Well, it is obvious with the downtrend, very, very obvious. And yesterday we talked about this consolidation phase we identified here, as the indecision later turned out to be a downtrend possibility, as price continued to reject that red line that I drew, that you can see on your chart, making that red line our new yardstick going forward. So we will be looking forward to prices right broke down that demand zone that has been holding price supported since April. So it was fully broken down 2 days ago, I guess, and that's definitely a signal for us. We also had a breakdown of this bullish trend line, which also shares a component with the rejection of that red trend line we identified earlier. And since we have this leg now, and we saw price move up a little bit after this breakdown, we saw this little movement up, then we might be looking for reversal structures that will send price back into that trend line. This is what I mean. Price sent back into the trend line, or probably this bullish trend line to reject, or this demand zone, after which we look for reversal structures that will support a trend continuation to the downside. So this is what we'll be looking for going forward. We don't know how long this is going to take. It could take a day, it could take a couple of hours, and probably it could actually be happening next week. So however, but this is what we are going to be looking out for on the EURUSD. If you have missed this move, then we can actually take advantage of a trend continuation if we see price move into either area of the previous structure. So we will be having our extension tool to project our take profit target, which definitely will fall around this area. So we're looking at price moving into this area, and we shall be holding this area as the next bus stop for the bearish momentum potential profit target. So let's have this like this for now, and so that's about how many pips from, let's say, from this area now. That's at about 200 pips. So if I do a recap, the first thing first is we are waiting for price to come into that zone, this demand zone, this trend line, or this one, depending on whichever we see a reversal structure that supports a downtrend continuation. So that is our expectation on the EURUSD. And if you are a counter trend trader, you might want to take advantage of this possible reversal pattern. That is, if price does not break below the previous low, then we can be looking for a reversal pattern, a breakout of that structure as a signal, a retest as a confirmation. Then we take that move to the upside. That if you are a counter trend trader, and that's like about a minimum of 110 pips thereabouts on this one. So that's that on EURUSD. So is there any question? Okay, great. There is none. Please give me a moment, please. Give me like a minute. So sorry for the break in transmission. So moving forward, that's that on Euro USD. I don't know if there are questions on Euro USD. Okay, Marwa, hello, nice trading. All right. Okay, I'll take that as a compliment. So moving forward, we're on Euro AUD now. Yes, yesterday I explained to you what my expectations are on the Euro AUD. And remember, during the beginning of the week, we were expecting price. We saw this reversal pattern at this point at the reversal. So we set pending orders at this area, but we were taking out at break even at this point. And since that moment, price continued to go to the upside, and price went back into that supply zone we identified 1.53 area, after which during the course of um, yesterday's live studio session, I set another pending order at this point at 1.52147 and 1.51953, which I said will be added to the previous three we had. So now we already have five positions running on the Euro AUD right now, and we are profitable in all five positions right now, as we can see. Then at this point in time, we want to start moving our stop losses. I don't know if you are with me on this one. Who is with me on this Euro AUD trade? Okay. So we already have five positions running, and all of them are in profit already. And the first two that we had from this area, we have this is running around 130 pips, and the second one is running with about 100 pips. That's like 230 pips already for the first two. Then these other three are still running with minimum profits. We have 42 here. We have we have 30 here, that's 72, and this one is just right still within that area. So for me, we have a close to 200 pips running on this one already. And uh, if you agree with me, I think it's time to start closing in as in pushing down your stop losses at least for the first two, we push our stop loss to somewhere around here. That's around 1.51, 750, 760 area at least, in case price pushes back up. We never can tell. So this is how it's going to go. And if price continue to the downside as expected, as soon as price comes into around this area 1.499, I will advise that we move all stop loss to the fifth entry at this point. That's 1.508 800. Move all stop loss to that area, and then let's watch whatever happens. So our take profit target also remains at 1.48520, which is about 270 pips thereabout. So that's that on the Euro AUD. And moving on, let's go to, where is that, EURCAD. So on EURCAD, we already hit our profit yesterday. We take profit of 110 pips. We have two positions running on this one, and I think I said something yesterday that we might leave this trade early, or actually it later went on to hit our take profit target. So on the EURCAD, I'm still going to hold on here for this week, though we have a buy opportunity around this area. So we'll be looking for this structure to form a reversal setup that will support a trend continuation to the upside. So we already have a consolidation phase happening right now, at least the last how many hours now? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and last 20 hours, that's almost a day, we've been experiencing and witnessing a consolidation phase around this area that's even close to the buy opportunity zone we identified yesterday. So now we'll be looking for a signal in the form of a breakout of structure, a retest into structure, which will give us a confirmation that we should up into the potential rally, and that's probably will begin next week, or we might probably be seeing signs of that by close to the end of today's session. So on the EURCAD, on long term, we are still looking at bullish momentum. That's if structure supports the idea of a reversal pattern around this area. So that's that on the EURCAD. And if we move on to GBPCAD, on GBPCAD, price is already close to take profit target here. 3 positions running, but I told you yesterday that I left the trade on this orange line at 1.58700. I left the trade when I saw multiple rejection of this level yesterday. But if you are still in that trade, price is already close to the take profit target. That's that on the GBPCAD. So moving on to BTCUSD, to the Bitcoin. Someone called my attention to Bitcoin yesterday and was told to share my perspective on the Bitcoin, and I was quick to emphasize that first of all, we're still expecting a long-term momentum, bullish momentum on this one. However, on the short term, we've been seeing lower lows and lower highs since the beginning of the week, and it doesn't appear to be good times for the Bitcoin at the moment. Even I think other crypto coins as well. So in this regard, we identified this trend line yesterday. If you will remember, we identified this trend line yesterday, and as at that yesterday, price was around this area, I guess. I think price was around here yesterday when we were talking about this pair. Price was around this place yesterday. So we drew two trend lines. We had the major one here, which is identified on your chart as the green line, and then we had this minor one, which is identified on your chart as a dotted green line here, which we can see at this point. That's on the Bitcoin, and we identified a key level around 30,000, which is a very, very strong psychological level. Allow me to label this for clarity's sake. $30,000, or let's say 30K, and let's place it right at the bottom. Yes, oh sorry, 30K. So we have 30K here, that level. So for me right now, it might be ripe for us to take an advantage of this bearish momentum if it finally happens. However, we still need to take into consideration this major trend line that is identified on your chart as that green tick line above. So we might be seeing price do something like this, move into that supply zone, if that rejects that trend line, then we see a reversal pattern that supports a trend continuation to the downside. That is a possibility. That's one. And the second one is the possibility that the reversal pattern can start revealing itself around this area, which is right on top of the 30K key level. Then we look for a breakout of structure, which also brings price below that key level, a retest into structure, which also shares a confluence with the key level, and that temporary bearish trend line that you can see on your screen as a green dotted line, then we can be looking to take advantage of a bearish momentum in that regard. So what this simply means is that our price, to be on the safer side, our entry price will definitely be right below this key level, maybe somewhere around here, where we can actually take advantage of that bearish momentum if it finally happens. So we'll be having our stop loss right above that key level, just a little bit right above that key level. That's about 900 pips thereabout. Then we'll be having a TP target, which is going to be an extension of this impulse leg that we have here. And if we project that into this area and to have a more precise figure, then we will be looking at the extension of 127.2% retracement of that impulse leg, and which we identify to be around this area, which we identified as our profit target during the course of yesterday's live session. So what we and somebody even pointed out that it's not possible price get to that place. Well, nobody knows how far price is going to go and when price is going to peak. But however, we can use our technical experiences, use what is happening currently on the chart, look at how price is moving, and use the information to project expectations will what expectation will be in the nearest future. So, but basically what we have here is this. We have something like this, so it's most appropriate that we look for entries right below that key level after the formation of a reversal structure around this area. Please ensure that you have this formation of a reversal structure, then in the form of a breakout of structure, then a confirmation at a retest of this key level and trend line to send price going down. And because of the nature of this Bitcoin, where we're still expecting a bullish momentum on the long term, then we need to be very careful while taking this bearish opportunity. As price move towards our direction as expected, we should definitely be moving our stop loss in line with that. Remember, when things are very cheap is when people want to come in to buy the whatever instrument or commodity that is. So right now Bitcoin is very cheap, and it's more prone to buyers right now to hop in to buy the pair, the coin. So let's be mindful as we take a trade on this one. So moving on. So I think we've already talked about all the pairs we talked about yesterday, and these are what we'll be moving on to now will be the pairs I see potentials of a trading opportunity going into the New York session, and probably going into the new week as well. The first one first is on the USDCHF. The first thing you will notice if you go to the daily time frame is that the USDCHF have been strongly bullish since the beginning of April. As we can see, we had that strong bullish momentum that strike to all the roofs to find a comfortable seat right at 1.00450. Now, we don't have any setups or signals that gives us an hint of a potential bearish momentum, or probably a retracement phase, whatsoever. At this point, there is nothing like that. We have no structure supporting any retracement phase for now. So with the strength of this move, then definitely it will be most advisable that we look for bullish potentials on this one. So if we scale down to a much lower time frame, let's say the 1 hour time frame, for instance, this is what I identified here, and I saw, and I felt like, okay, it's necessary I share with you guys. So if we look close into the 1 hour time frame, we have a structure right above this area at 0.96, 0.99700. Let me label this for clarity's sake. Key level at 0.997. So we have that one there. And I think let's give this a gold since our key level right now and it's going to be what we'll be using to guide our actions going forward. So right now we have at the point price was being resisted by the sellers at this points, and we can see multiple rejections of that level. We can see we had another one here, we had multiple rejection here before we finally saw that significant breakout during the course of yesterday's trading session. So with that being said, that's for me a signal that we might still be going bullish on this one. So in that regard, we want to be looking for ways to take advantage of that bullish momentum if it finally happens. And what we see here is an impulse leg that we saw here. We can take this impulse leg, we can take from here as well. It's an impulse leg, but for clarity's sake, let's choose this one and let's see where price is going to retrace to. As we can see signs of a retracement wave finally happening at this point, and how far will this retracement wave go to, we never can tell. So how do we now decide when to buy this pair? The first thing first is we want to be looking for a retracement into our golden zone area. And where is our golden zone area? Our golden zone area is the retracement into the 50 to 78.6% retracement of the last impulse leg. And if we do that and run this retracement from this impulse leg, run through this impulse leg, we'll have our retracement phase right within 50 and 78.6% of that impulse leg. So we should be having a buy opportunity. Let me see, buying opportunity around this area. So this is what we have here. So we'll be having a buy opportunity within this area. That's one. And the second impulse leg, we also need to take that into consideration as well. We also have the second impulse leg here too as well. And if we run that through, we have our buy opportunity zone right around here. So let me delete this and so this is my thought process at this point in time. This is what my thoughts. So with this said now, there is a possibility that we could be seeing a buy opportunity from this area. That is, we see a reversal structure that supports a trend continuation to the upside, or probably we see price break down this area down the trend line, down the key level, where we might see a decoy in the form of a trend continuation to the downside. Then we see a reversal pattern that moves price up. So these are two scenarios we want to be looking at on the USDCHF, and if this happens, then we want to be thinking of how to take advantage of that opportunity when it finally comes up. So for the USDCHF, for now, we are still going to be looking bullish on this one. No bearish expectation whatsoever. So moving on, let's look at EURCHF. On the EURCHF, we were profitable on the EURCHF. I think 2 weeks ago we took a trade on EURCHF. Is it 2 or 3 weeks ago? I think 2 or 3 weeks ago we took a trade on EURCHF, and it took us about a week and a half before we got to that take profit target. It was a slow and steady trade, and I think the trade started around this area, and we took the profit right into that level. Now we're having a retracement phase happening right now as we continue to see price. Since price hit 1.05150, we started seeing a decline in price action as price continue to drop and find lower lows. So at this point in time, definitely we want to take this as a sign that price is going to a retracement wave. And if that is happening, then we need to be patient to see if we are going to be going further up, or probably it's an outright reversal pattern. So these are the two things we need to look at on the Euro CHF. So that's why we need to go to the higher time frame and let us see what is happening on the higher time frame. So I moved a little bit higher, and that is on the weekly time frame, and we can see definitely that we are on a bearish momentum as price continue to find lower highs and lower lows. And this can be highlighted with the trend line you can see on the charts. That red trend line has been guiding price action since the beginning of 2021, and you can see price still continues to respect that line. And during this week here, we saw the way things are going. Price touched that week, and we touched that trend line, and we have this sharp reversal that probably is a rejection, which we don't know yet, or probably price is still going to break above that trend line to send price going to the upside, or probably this is a reversal, a rejection of that trend line to incite a reversal pattern to the downside. So these are one or two things. These are two things that we want to be looking at going into the new week. So what I want to be looking at is this. If I scale down to a much lower time frame, let's say in the form of the 3 hours time frame, to see what price is doing at this point, then we can have this as we have, sorry, I think I can see a trend line here. I see a trend line here, a bullish trend line here. Let's give this a green to emphasize its bullishness, if there's any word like that, and make it thicker a little bit. And then we have the second trend line right here, which is more like this. I think like this is better. Yes. So we're going to make this a little bit lighter and make it dotted, since it's a temporary trend line. And for now, this is what we'll be having when we bring back our candlestick charts. So well, that's what we have here. That's number one. Then we have I think there is a structure I can see here where price did a breakout of um let me bring my line chart to see that more clearly. Okay, we have something like this. So this could be our temporary bearish trend line at this point. Then we saw a breakout of that trend line at this point during the beginning of the month, and that breakout is more of a sign that we are going bullish. That's a bullish signal. And then this will be our, at this point in time, be our impulse leg. So fortunately we have an impulse leg to work with at this point, and then we can be looking for a retracement into the golden zone area, which is between 50 and 78.6%. And if we bring out our retracement tool, we will be having something like this for another opportunity to buy the euro and sell the Swiss franc. So this is what we'll be having at this point. So, and if we look closely into what's happening here, we have a structure that looks more like this. You see, like an harmonic pattern where we have, maybe say, probably price could be retracing into somewhere, or probably retrace into this trend line before we see the continuation to the upside. So we have two things to work with. We have that impulse leg one, and then we have another one here where we'll be looking for a buy opportunity zone right within, sorry, let me just double this. right between the 50 and 78.6. So we really have a big opportunity zone to buy the Euro CHF. So if I were you, I will be patient on this one, and let's see where we are going to start having a reversal structure. And probably this might be a long consolidation phase for a trend continuation to the upside to happen, or probably a breakdown of that trend line that we will be seeing a trend continuation downward. So let's keep our fingers crossed on the Euro CHF, and let's see what happens as time goes by. Hi Max, good morning to you. I hope you had a wonderful night rest and trust you are prepared for the new day. So that is that on the Euro CHF. And if you look at New Zealand USD, well, the New Zealand USD has been bearish for a very long time. I think someone told me to talk about the New Zealand USD, which I'll quickly run through, and let's see what is happening on the New Zealand USD. On the daily time frame, it's obvious we are downtrend. As we can see, price continue to respect that trend line as it finds its paths south. And you can see the expansion became wider at this point, as we see that price no longer find that trend line again, but found a new trend line in the form of this, which I identified here with the red tick line and the dash and dotted lines. So for me personally, if I want to sell this New Zealand USD on the long term, I should be expecting a breakout of this trend line. Price comes up into this area where I'll be looking for opportunities to sell one more time. That's if I see rejections of that line, or probably somewhere around that area, or to sell. However, that will be inactivity. So why not also take advantage of that move that goes into that trend line? That's a question. That's a question one can ask. But the next question is, can we really take advantage of that? Can we find opportunity that will line up that will support us taking that advantage? Well, the answer can only come on the lower time frame. And if we go down to say the 1 hour time frame, for instance, you can see a perfect trend line already on this one. And if we go left, we can see structures. You can see areas where has been holding price for some time during the month of April, and appears that it's going to take price up. But unfortunately for the buyers, they couldn't find that momentum, and price finally broke down that structure, now making that area that has been a demand zone to become a new supply zone. As you can see, price rejected this area again, found another support, rejected that demand zone, and then price broke down this support again one more time before it started doing this consolidation phase we're seeing right now. So for me right now, there is an indecision in the market, and people are actually waiting for and a news event probably, or probably an economic release whatsoever. But for me, I actually don't do that. I don't trade the economic news. I only look at what's happening on the chart. However, we can actually use that economic news as a support to whatever ideas we're having on the chart. So for me now, what I'm seeing here is a consolidation phase right below this structure that has been broken at 1.628, and let's see what happens at this point. It's not, there is a possibility that we see price go up, break up the structure, retest the structure, break out that trend line, and then move into this area where it will share confluence with the bearish trend line we saw on the daily, weekly time frame before we now start seeing that bearish momentum, or probably a trend continuation to the upside. So these are things that we can look out for on the New Zealand USD. So in that regard, let's see, is there a news? I think there is a release today. Okay, we have Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index, which is going to be happening in the next 2 hours, I guess, and the expectation is 64, and we don't know what is going to happen. Probably that will whatever figure comes out will send price moving up or down. So we really need to use this consolidation phase to find that area where we think price will be going. So for me, what I think at this point is you can see that price since it touched 0.62150, we've been seeing higher lows and price appears to, though we have a low here, but if we see a low below this level, then we can be looking for a potential for a bearish momentum where we'll be looking for a signal of a breakout of that structure, a retest, then price goes down. So allow me to draw a line below that level so that it can be our guide for selling opportunities at this point. So now I'll give it a purple color to differentiate it from. So let me give it a purple color. Then we have one right above this area. So this is our consolidation phase at this point. And whatever happens here, whatever signals, if we have a breakout of that structure, a retest could be a signal for a trend continuation to the upside, and then probably a rejection of this could send price coming down. So we need to be very, very careful. For me personally, I will be looking for selling opportunities at this point. Either a breakdown, a retest, trend continuation down, or probably um, price breaks out like a false breakout, then sees rejection on this trend line and then pushes price to the downside. So whatever ways we want to be looking for, we want to be looking for um, the extension of this impulse leg as our take profit target. So that means we'll be having an extension around. So I don't know where that extension, we don't know where that retracement is going to end. The retracement of this impulse leg, we don't know if it's going to end in this trend line, then push price down to the downside. However that is, whatever pattern price action takes, we have our extension right here. So we have our take profit target right within 0.61750 and 0.61500 as our profit target area. So for the New Zealand USD in the meantime. So let me label this profit target. So we have something like this. So this is what we will be looking out for today. Probably what the news is going to bring will definitely support this. Like I said, we might have having a sharp push out, then we see rejections that send price crashing down. So whatever way, our first take profit target should be around here. Then if we see further breakdown of this profit target zone, then we continue to hard position. Once again, it's only advisable you sell on this pair if you really want to take any trade on this one. So in this regard, I think it's time I call it a day. And let me quickly run through what we talked about so far today. The first pair we talked about is we talked about how the UK oil was going, and right now the UK oil is still moving as expected, and we talked about how we took advantage of the UK oil in that regard. On the USD, we made mention of our expectation, how we expect price to come back into this demand zone or probably this trend line, after which we look for selling opportunities to move price to the downside. And the way things are going, it appears price is actually forming a reversal pattern around this point, which looks more like a double bottom structure, where we'll be looking for a breakout of structure. And if you're a counter trend trader, it will be an opportunity for you to take advantage of this short-term bullish momentum that will happen before we start seeing that bearish momentum based on structure. So that's that on EURUSD. Then on XAUUSD, we said, what did we see on XAUUSD anyway? I think I have the chart on here. I think we were using this. Okay, yes. So I said something about this sell. Oh, has it triggered? Come on. Yes, it's triggered. Okay, no, it's not. It's not yet. It's not yet triggered. So we have something like this. I said on a short term that I'm expecting price to come below, break down below this key level, and we saw that we've seen that breakdown the last three candles. We saw that breakdown, and we are waiting for a rejection of this area, a retest of this area to join the trend to the downside. However, it is pertinent to understand that anywhere around here is good for you to sell the for you to sell the gold. This key level 1821, anywhere below this key level, you can even sell at this point and make sure your stop loss is right above this level. And one thing there is anywhere above is not good for us, but anywhere below here is good. So you can either hold on for price to come back up here a little and form some confirmation signals, or probably we just join right away, and if you're not patient, just run right away and take it, or you wait for price to come up, and if price doesn't come up, then you know you've missed it. We already made three successful trades on gold this week. We took this one, and this is another opportunity we have in here, and let's hope it moves um, the way we expected. However, I talked about the long-term perspective where we looked at the 3 hours time frame, and we said we expecting a bullish momentum on this one, where if we see a breakout of this trend line, a breakout of this structure, we might be looking for a bullish momentum at least to this area, where we'll be looking for selling opportunities considering the bearish momentum that have gripped the market since the beginning of the month. So that is what my expectations were on gold. So moving on, we talked about Euro AUD. I think, what did we see on Euro AUD? Okay, yes, that we had trade running and 5 positions running. I said advise that we move our stop loss to somewhere around here for the first two, and let's see how price react at this point. And I also made mention of the fact that if we see price move into this area, this 1.5 area, 1.501 area, we move all stop losses to the fifth entry at this point, since we're already going into the weekend. That's that on Euro AUD. Then on EURCAD, I shared, okay, we made profit on EURCAD yesterday as we take profit 110 pips in two places. That's over 200, considering the fact that we entered two positions. And remember, we said during the beginning of the week that we have a buy opportunity zone at 1.356 area, which is around this area. So though we can see price is below that level, so that means the buy opportunity zone is probably extended lower. And then let's look for if we're going to have structures that will support a bullish continuation to the upside. So on the long term, the EURCAD is bullish. My positions are bullish on this one, considering the reversal pattern we identified during the course of last week trading. So that is that on the EURCAD. We were profitable on that one. And then we went to the GBPCAD. We talked about GBPCAD where I told you that I actually exited my trade at this golden zone area, this golden line area, and that was because of the multiple rejection of this area that I saw that made me close that trade. And I think I advise everyone to do that. But if you didn't do that, price is still moving accordingly, and we are like a few pips away from take profit target on the GBPCAD. On the GBPCAD, I still don't have any other expectation other than let's see what happens. Then on the Bitcoin, I said something on the Bitcoin that in the short term we are looking for ways to take advantage of a short-term downtrend. And I think on the 4 hours time frame, we identified bearish trend lines on the Bitcoin, and we want to be using that trend line as a guide going into the weekend. And what I said is that if you go down to the 1 hour time frame, much lower time frame, we want to be looking for a reversal pattern. For instance, this is what we have right now. We saw rejection of this trend line right from the beginning of the month, and we saw that how this trend line has been holding price action for some time before we saw the breakdown of that 30K level, which is a very psychological level, a retest into that line. Then we saw this boom down. Now price is back into that 30K level or right above, and which also shares a confluence with the bearish trend line we've identified earlier. So we want to be looking for a reversal pattern around this area to give us a signal that breaks through this key level, a retest into the structure, and a signal that confirms a trend continuation to the downside. So with this being said, I said the most comfortable area for any selling opportunity or any selling thinking is that we should look for below the 30K level. If price breaks through that level, is most comfortable to sell. But if we are still above that 30K level, the possibility for buy momentum to start coming in is very, very feasible. So for me personally, I still have a long-term bullish expectation for the BTC. And why is that? Definitely is obvious. Bitcoin is now very, very cheap. And when a commodity or instrument is cheap, which definitely pulls people from different aspects of the market to come in and buy things cheap. It's just a psychological thing. We love buying things cheap. Yes, that's that on BTC USD. Then we moved on to USDCHF, where I identified two buy opportunity zones, and we had the key level at 0.997, which shall be our guide. And we said we saw this impulse leg, we saw this impulse move, and we're expecting that price is going to be doing a retracement into one of these buy opportunity zone where we will be looking for reversal structures that will support a trend continuation to the upside. So in this one, we'll just keep our fingers crossed, be patient, and let's see how price action plays out as the day goes by. Then we moved on to EURCHF, where I talked about the fact that we took a bullish opportunity on this one during the course of, I think, 2 weeks ago, and we were profitable. And since then, we've been seeing price coming back down. And now we have two impulse legs here. That's tongue twisting. So we had two impulse legs here. So we had one here, and I made mention of the fact that this looks more like an harmonic pattern, where we have this, and then probably might be expecting a cipher pattern thereabouts, where we'll be looking for structures that will support a trend continuation to the upside. So we really have a huge buy opportunity zone, but what plays out next week will now determine how we are going to trade this pair. So lastly, we talked about the New Zealand USD, where I said it's bearish and it's advisable to only look for bearish opportunities on this one based on what structure is giving us and how weak the Kiwi is against the dollar. Then we scale down to a much lower time frame where we identify a channel, and we said there is an economic release today. I think in the next 2 hours thereabouts, the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index will be released, and consensus is saying that it's going to be below the previous one, which is not a good sign for the dollar. But however, if results comes and it remains the same, I don't think it will have any effect on the market. And if it's better, positive, then we might be having a sharp that demand zone here, where we'll be looking for an outright sell, or if you're a patient one, you wait for confirmation to. But by the way, that's one. And then we had an opportunity where we might see a sharp rise into one of these trend lines. We now see rejection that support a trend continuation to the downside. Anyways, the price moves later on. Our profit target should be at this area, at least for the meantime, after which if we see a breakdown of that structure, then we can be looking for opportunities to join the trend continuation to the downside. So I think that is what I talked about so far, and it's good to know you, it's good to meet you today, and it has been a wonderful week for us. At least we had more profit than losses this week, which for me it's a good one, and we're open for a better next week. So till we meet again, I wish you a wonderful weekend, and do have a wonderful rest, and best of luck on the remaining session for today. Bye.